Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our herbal hour. It's nice to see everybody. I appreciate that you're here, and I've got a little PowerPoint to share with you. So we're going to go over some uses of herbs, and let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is the second part. And like I said, if you missed the introduction or you missed the first part for the herbs and their uses, just send me a message either on Facebook or send me an email and just let me know, hey, I missed those. Please send me the recording. I'm happy to do that, okay? These herbal hours are free. And I used to do these years ago. So these herbal hours are free. If you want to become certified, you can become certified through these. Also, we have the course online. And so, that's also available to you if you want to become certified. This is all my information here. I'm a naturopath, president of Joyful Living Services. We are sanctioned school through IPA, the International Iridology Practitioners Association, and I teach iridology. And there's some information there on how to reach me. I don't know if you want to turn around or if you're okay like that, or it's up to you. It's totally up to you. Okay, so thank you for being here, everybody, especially in this heat. Thank you for being online. And so we're going to talk about some herbs here. But first, I need to go over, for all those new people, my disclaimer here. So Joyful Living Services cannot be held liable for any misuse or malpractice of any techniques taught within this herbal class, nor for any injury, suffering, or distress caused by students undertaking the techniques discussed. All students must accept that they are wholly responsible for their actions relating to the practice of herbs and must adhere to their relevant laws in their country and state of residence. Students are responsible for ensuring that they have appropriate insurance for practicing in their country and state of residence. Joyful Living Services cannot be held responsible for any advice given by students to members of the public. Students must adhere to their local laws regarding the requirement for registration and or qualification as an herbalist before suggesting supplements or offering nutritional advice. So we have about 60 students that have signed up for this. And, there's people here in the United States, there's people in other countries, and each state and each country has its own rules and laws. And so it's very important that, if you're going to practice herbs, if you're going to practice iridology, anything that you're going to practice, that you learn what the rules are in your state or country. Okay. So we left off here on eucalyptus. And so we're going to talk just a little bit. And I do have some plants that I brought from, I always bring them from my garden. That I will show you, and they don't look as pretty as they would, in the spring because it's so hot right now. But I've got a bunch of herbs here that I picked this morning, and I can show them to you. You like those? Yeah. Even though they're dry. Yeah. So all foods are herbs, and all herbs are foods, and so depending on how we use them, that determines whether or not they're foods or herbs. So I can take a couple of these out here. So this one here, this is echinacea here. And we all know, those of us that use herbs, we all know that echinacea is great for immune system, right? Infections and immune systems and viruses and things like that, and colds and coughs and all those kinds of things. And, you can buy the echinacea plants, the bulbs, in Home Depot has these all over the place. You can plant them and they grow like crazy. You just plant one of the tubers and it will produce a lot of echinacea for you. So, the best part of it, of course, is the root. But this is the flower, and very pretty. It's you don't want to grab it. It's very spiky. I don't want to grab it. So I've got hydrangea here, and it actually made a nice flower for all of us. And we know hydrangea is good for, anybody know? Hydrangea is really good for kidneys and kidney stones, and helping the urinary system. And so this is, I have the purple and pink hydrangea. They grow all over the place. They like shade, but they grow even in this heat. And of course, the root is always the best, but you can still use the leaf, and you can see the flower here. It's so pretty. And I'm so jealous. Mine are so tiny like this. And I drive around and I see huge hydrangea flowers. Like, oh my gosh, I want one of those. Okay, so this here I've shown before. This, okay, who remembers? Mullein. This is mullein, and it grows like crazy up here in the foothills. And it has these really pretty yellow flowers here. Oh, and there's a spider. Hello. And if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. And so this is great for lung issues. This is great for respiratory, lungs, yeah, respiratory. And I think I'm not going to keep you. I think you're going to go like under my phone like right now. Okay. So, sorry, spider. Okay. So I broke my promise. Yeah, so mullein is great. You can make tea, right? You can make mullein tea out of it. You can take the herbs. Mullein is really great for anything having to do with bronchitis and any kind of colds, chest colds, anything for. I have no idea about that. I don't know anything about the years of mullein and if it's the best time to use it or not. But mullein is, we cut it because it grows so tall. It grows tall as our tree, and it likes the shade. And so for some reason, it likes it right underneath. We have fruit trees, and it likes it right there on the edge of our fruit trees. This is lavender, and I mean, most people know about lavender, and but you can see it's a little dry right now. But lavender is great for calming. It's great to put some lavender oil on your pillow. If you're having trouble sleeping or you're stressed out, you can put it on the side of your pillow, put it in the, put it in the air, essential oils. And this doesn't really have much of a smell, but it's lavender is great for just relaxation. If you take a bath, you can, they have Epsom salt now with lavender, and that's really great for just kind of relaxing your body and helping with, stress and achy muscles and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what I have here. This is bay leaf, and smells good if you take the leaf off, but this is bay, and this, most people put it in their spaghetti sauce, right? But this is an aromatic, and so aromatics open things up, right? They open things up, and it's good for stimulating everything and opening up the lungs, and it's kind of like eucalyptus, right? Where it opens things up. And then here I have, this is oregano, and there again, there's the flowers. There's the flowers in the oregano, pretty, purple. And oregano, we know that we put this in spaghetti sauce too, right? Oregano, it's a great spice, but there again, it's an aromatic. And if you plant just a little tiny piece of oregano in the ground, it will go everywhere. It's great to plant this at the base of your trees. And places that you don't want ants and bugs because they don't like it. And so you can plant this at the base of your trees, and it'll keep the bugs away from your trees because they don't like the smell. Yeah. Okay, this is asparagus, and this is the plant of the asparagus. I can't, I was told I could grow asparagus at my house, but it's not growing the way it's supposed to grow, but this is actually how the plant looks. And so we know asparagus is good for what happens when you eat asparagus. You get asparagus, you get asparagus pea, right? And so it's really great for kidneys and for bladder, and lavender is great for skin, including sunburn. Yeah, Great. Lavender is great for the skin. Is mullein good for black mold? I don't know, Jackie. Is it? I don't know the answer to that question.
I'm just asking because I know it's for the lungs, and I think black mold usually settle in the lungs. So I was just asking.
Oh, for detoxing?
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But you know, bay leaf, you're not supposed to eat bay leaf. You can put it in your sauce and cook it, but you're not supposed to eat it, which doesn't make any sense to me because you've already cooked it into your food. So, but this is asparagus here, or at least the plant for the asparagus that I picked this morning. And then this is Oregon grape here. So who knows what Oregon grape is good for?
Not good for your blood.
Good for your blood, yeah. Oregon grape is great for your blood. It's great for your immune system, and it makes little blue little berries, and so you can make a tincture. We were actually thinking about doing that and making some tinctures out of it. So we'll see. Allergies. It helps detox. For those of you who have ever grown potatoes, this is a potato plant here. And so I picked it because they were growing. And then of course, this is the onion here. I've got onions growing with the potatoes. And onions we know are aromatic, just like garlic, right? Good for the immune system. And so this is a regular onion. Yeah, this is a regular onion. So you know what you can do if you eat green onions and you keep just a little bit of the root and the white part, you can plant that in the ground and it'll produce onions for you. And if you like green onions, you know, green onions are really good for thyroid. They're high in iodine. If you keep cutting them, they'll keep growing, keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. They'll never stop growing. And so you've got free onions. And you can do that with a lot of things. You can do that with a lot of things. And then let's see what else I have here. I have fig here, but it's not very happy. It wasn't happy when I cut it off the tree. Figs, right? It's all wilted, even though it's been in water all day. Figs are real high in fiber. Okay, if you're diabetic, it's not so great because they're real high in sugar, but they're very high in fiber and real high in iron. Yeah. Yep. And then I have here, the last thing I have here is these are raspberries. And raspberries we know are for
Urinary tract?
women.
Yeah.
Yeah, for women. So yeah. I just picked the potato. I just picked the potato. Potatoes are a good start. There you go. But actually, red potatoes, or not red potatoes, but yams, they're high in fiber, you know, and those are okay for, you know, they don't really hurt if you're working on your blood sugar, as long as you don't eat too many, you know. All right, so that's what we brought in today. That's what looked the best out there. Anybody have anything to add to that?
I just read an article on the bay leaves.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a really good cancer fighter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just read that on a site.
Yeah, I can't really claim that, right? So
I know. Yeah.
It would be good for the immune system.
Immune system. Okay.
Yeah, good for the immune system. Good for, you know, it's an aromatic. So,
Right.
That's good information. Okay, so this handout is available, and so these are some things here, herbs and their uses that I put together, and you have the handouts here, right? So we can go through these things. Eucalyptus, you know, most people know that you can use eucalyptus essential oils if you have a cold, if you have croup, if you get sick here, it clears congestion. The parts to use are the bark, essential oils, and leaves. and clears congestion, has a mild antiseptic action, reduces swelling by helping to increase blood flow, relaxes tired and sore muscles, good for colds, coughs, and other respiratory disorders. So usually you can get eucalyptus oil and put it, especially if kids, they get croupy or they get colds, and it's really good to put in the air and help them so that they can breathe. Eye Bright, we use that for anything for the eyes, anything make it into an eye wash. If you get Eye Bright, make it into a powder. You can use that as an eye wash. You just heat the water, put the Eye Bright in the water, make a tincture out of it. Make sure you strain it so there's no pieces that are left in there, and then you can use a dropper and drop it in the eyes. And that's great for anything for the eyes, allergies or infections, or we use that along with a few other things to help with eyesight and cataracts and all those kinds of things. And it's good for allergies, itchy and watery eyes, runny nose, things like that, hay fever and things like that. False unicorn, we use the roots, and you can see there helps with the sex hormones, useful for treatments of infertility, menstruation, PMS, and prostate disorders and things like that, and can help prevent miscarriage. I don't know if I go that far. So, if you've got somebody that's, going to have a miscarriage or look like they're having it, I'm not going to be somebody that's going to say, oh, get some false unicorn. That's. Yeah. Okay, fennel. Fennel is really great. They put it in sausage, right? When I was growing up, my great-grandma, I used to go with my great-grandma to Santa Cruz, and we'd stop on the side of the road and just pick fennel, and then she'd bring it home and she made homemade sausages. So that's a memory that I have from growing up. So you can see the parts used are the berries, the roots, and the stems, and it can be used as an eye wash. Okay, you can see here, promotes function of kidneys, liver, spleen, helps to clear the lungs, relieves abdominal pain, colon disorders, gas. Maybe that's why they put it in sausages. And gastrointestinal tract spasms, good for stomach acid, and so on for cancer treatments. Okay, and you can see here the powdered plant can be used as a flea repellent. I can't not attest to that, so I don't know if that actually works or not. Fenugreek, great for sinus, anything having to do sinus and mucus. Okay, if you have blue eyes, or somebody has blue eyes and they're taking in dairy and they're drinking a lot of milk and they're getting very mucusy, give them fenugreek, and that'll help to open everything up and get rid of that mucus. Okay, we use the seeds, and it can act as a laxative. It lubricates the intestines, reduces fever, good for the eyes, helps asthma and sinus problems. I've got a client that's been using it for years for mucus, because she gets very mucusy. Okay. For lactation and hair growth. Use it in the oils for hair. Okay, good. All right, feverfew needs to build up. It's great for migraines. Okay, so if you know somebody that has migraines, of course, working with migraines, you've got to take care of other things as well. What are the triggers? Is it hormonal? Is it coming from foods? Is it coming from red food coloring? Is it coming from caffeine? Is it stress related? Does it have to do with their neck? Is it the atlas? Yes, there's many things that can cause migraines, but feverfew is a really great herb to use for migraines. And it usually takes time to build up in the blood for it to work. You can use the bark, dried flowers, and leaves. And you can see here also helps with lungs and bronchioles, helps promote menses, stimulates appetite, uterine contractions, good for arthritis, colitis, fever. There's the headaches, menstrual problems, muscle tension, and pain. Okay. Don't chew it. It's probably not a good idea that you chew it. And Flax is great. You get the little teeny flax seeds, you know, you can get them at the health food store, and you can grind it up as long, just don't heat it. You grind it up, you can put it in your salads, you can put it in whatever you want. It's great for the bowels. And also you can make a tea out of it. So you can make a tea out of it, get the flax seeds, put them in the bottom of a cup, pour hot water over them, put a lid over it, let it steep, and then drink the water. And that is really great. It kind of has a little bit of a nutty flavor. That's really great for the bowels. So promotes strong bones, nails, and teeth, as well as healthy skin. Great for colon, female disorders, inflammation. Okay. So, and there's more uses for these things. These are the main uses, but there are, you know, there are other things as well. Garlic that we all know and love, right? Great for the immune system. Okay, great for the immune system's got the allicin in it. And you can wear gloves, slice garlic really thin and put it between your toes. And within seconds, you'll have garlic breath. That's how fast, that's how fast it goes through your immune system. It's just like,
Wow.
I had a dog a long time ago that I brought her up completely on herbs, only herbs, nothing else. And she would go out in my backyard and she would eat all my vegetables. She'd pick the cantaloupes before they were ripe. She was a great dog, you know. And but this one time she got really sick. And so I put a sheet on my couch, put her on the couch, and then I started giving her garlic oil, and you know, and she didn't like it very much. But you know what? She was well the next day, and she smelled like a salad, you know. But you know, it worked really well. So.
And you said that at the beginning that garlic contains allicin.
Allicin.
Yeah. Contains allicin.
Yeah.
What is that?
ALICIN, something like that. Okay, so you see here, detoxifies the body, protects against infection by enhancing immune function, lowers blood pressure, improves circulation, lowers blood lipid levels, aids in the treatment of atherosclerosis, arthritis, asthma, cancer, circulatory problems, colds and flu, digestive problems, heart disorders, and the list goes on and on, insomnia, liver disease, sinusitis, ulcers, yeast infections, good for virtually anything. And so, you know, there's some people that don't like to take it because then they get the garlic breath. So you can get it without the allicin in it. But that, of course, that's the active ingredient, right? And so real important. Raw is always better. Raw is always better. Yeah. Okay, gentian, leaves and roots. Yes, it's good for thinning the blood. Okay, ginseng, leaves, we use the leaves and the roots, and you can see here it's also called bitter root, aids in digestion, can boost circulation, increase gastric secretion, can kill organisms that cause malaria, worms, stimulate appetite. There's so many things here, right? Good for circulatory problems, pancreatitis, and parasitic infections. So all kinds of things. Ginger, which we all know and love. There you go. That's another aromatic, right? And most people put it in their Chinese food. Great for the stomach, right? Great for digestion, anything for digestion. Okay, antioxidants, helps with the colon, reduces spasms and cramps, stimulates circulation, great for wounds, all kinds of bowel disorders, fever, hot flashes, and there it is, morning sickness. So I went on a cruise to the Bahamas, and it happened to be after Hurricane Andrew, and there were swells outside the window that went all the way up to the window, and everybody was sick. And I took a bottle of garlic, 100 caps of garlic. I took the whole thing throughout the cruise, the whole thing. Everybody else was popping Dramamine, and I had my little garlic capsules. It worked. It worked. You know, it's great for nausea, great for, you know, anything with your stomach's upset. Really great stuff. And of course, raw is better. You just peel it. Raw is better. It is heating, so you got to be careful because of the, you know, if it does heat. Okay, ginkgo. Ginkgo's great for memory. We actually have a ginkgo. Oh, next time I'll bring some ginkgo. We have a little ginkgo tree now that my husband planted. I just won't tell him that I cut it because he will not be happy if he finds out that I cut any ginkgo leaves off his tree. This is like one of the very oldest trees around, ginkgo tree. The leaves are what you use. Great for the brain, right? Great for memory. We all know that that's great for memory, helps improve circulation to the brain. It can be used for other things like depression and headaches and tinnitus, ringing in the ears. That for tinnitus, what works really great is ginkgo and meditation. I know that might sound funny, but it works. It really works. Can help with leg cramps, improving circulation. And you see that it needs to build up. So it needs to be taken for about 2 weeks before people get really good results with ginkgo. Ginseng is an adaptogen. And what that means is that it works when it needs to. So if you're taking ginseng and nothing's happening, well, obviously your body doesn't need it. But it's good. Ginseng is great for just about everything. Immune function, okay, adrenals. And since most people have adrenal fatigue, it's great for adrenal fatigue. Helps with appetite. So if you know anybody that doesn't have an appetite, used for energy, reducing stress. Like I said, it is an adaptogen. And it's used by athletes for strengthening. So it should not be used with anybody with hypoglycemia, high blood pressure, or heart disorders. So lots of people are on high blood pressure medicine. You're going to have to be careful and not good for them to use that. So that's really important. You also, not only learn about herbs and the parts that can be used, whether it's the bulb or the leaves or the roots or the stems, and how you can use them for different things and what they do and how they act. But it's really important to know the contraindications as well. So at the end of this class, there's a sheet that I have on contraindications because it's important, especially if you have somebody comes that is on all kinds of medications. They've got diabetes and they have high blood pressure and they have high cholesterol and they're on blood thinners and, and then you give them something that may be contraindicated and that's dangerous, right? So you've got to be careful. Okay, so golden seal. Golden seal is great, right? We use the rhizomes and the roots. It can act as an antibiotic and cleansing, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. I mean, there's a whole list here. I'm not going to read the whole list. You have to be careful with golden seal if somebody has diabetes, okay? Cardiovascular diabetes or glaucoma, you got to be careful. And just to put this into the recording, any single herb that's used for a very long time, your body can get used to it, just like what happens with antibiotics. It can become resistant to it. So if you're taking let's say you're just taking gotu-kola for a long period of time, or like me, I love podarco, and so I've taken podarco for a long time. After a while, it just doesn't work as well as it, and you'll notice that you need more of it. Okay, and so if you're better off in combination, or if you're taking a single herb, you're gonna have to switch back and forth between that. So yeah. Okay, gotu-kola, we use the nuts, the roots, and the seeds. And you can see here elimination of excess fluids. So these people that are at the stores that are walking around and their ankles are swollen, the nurse out here that I just talked to, she has huge swollen ankles, okay? Great to help the kidneys, okay? Fatigue, depression, increases sex drive, shrinks tissues, and so on, so on, so on. Also good for kidney stones. It'll usually be in combinations, okay? Gravel root, that's another one that'll be in there. And flowers, we use the flowers and the roots. And this also is great for kidneys. Acts as a diuretic, there's another one. And a urinary tract tonic. A lot of times, combinations for kidney stones will have gravel root in them, okay? Gravel root and or hydrangea. Okay, good for combating prostate disorders and problems related to fluid retention. So, especially with this heat, my goodness, all you have to do is go outside and you swell, so real important to drink lots of water and make sure you've got your feet up and you're getting massages and moving the lymph and moving the circulation. Okay, green tea, we use the leaves, Lots of people love green tea. Combats mental fatigue, can help lower the risk of esophageal, stomach, colon, and skin cancer. I can't claim any of that. Delay the onset of atherosclerosis. So green tea, everybody knows about that, how great it is, and should not be used in large quantities during pregnancies or during nursing or people with anxiety disorders and things like that. Hawthorn berries, great for the heart. Okay, they're red for the heart. Okay, we see the berries, the flowers, and the leaves. And this is really great for anything for the heart, all cardiovascular. But we know hawthorn is good for the heart. So anybody having any issues with the heart, and there again, you have to be careful because if people are on, like I said, blood pressure meds and cholesterol meds and blood thinners and all those kinds of things, you've got to be really careful because even though herbs are not as strong as medications, they are medicinal. Okay, they are medicinal and they will make a difference. Hops, great for people that want to stop drinking. Okay, berries, flowers, and leaves. Okay, good for anxiety, cardiovascular, hyperactivity. Great for hyperactive kids, insomnia, nervousness, pain, restlessness, sexually transmitted diseases, shock, stress, toothaches, ulcers. Okay, and there's another one like lavender. You can put it, on inside the pillowcase, and it helps with sleep.
Sleep.
Okay, horehound, flowers and leaves, and this is not one that I'm real familiar with here. Decreases thickness and increases fluidity of mucus in the bronchial tubes and lungs. So like mullein, useful for hay fever, sinusitis, and other respiratory disorders. Also boosts immune system. Okay, horsetail, great for the hair, hair, skin, bones, right? It's great for the nails, all those kinds of things. Increases calcium absorption, which promotes healthy skin and strengthens bone, hair, nails, teeth. Okay, horsetail is great for all of those things. So the question was, if somebody has osteoporosis, would you suggest horsetail? I muscle test everybody. And so I would check to see if it would be beneficial, but you also have to figure out what the cause is, right? So, if you're helping somebody with their hair and their skin and their nails and their bones, that's something that, you can check for. There's that hydrangea. See, that one's purple and pink. So that's pretty too. And so there you go. Acts as a diuretic, stimulates kidneys, good for bladder infections, kidney disease, and so on and so on. Don't eat the leaves. Don't eat the leaves. Even though they look good, don't eat the leaves. Just the roots are what you want to use. A lot of plants, you can get a little bit of the roots, but some of them, right, you have to get the whole root. So, if you can get part of the root or just plant a lot of hydrangea plants, then you won't feel bad if you have to dig it up. That's the only problem with using the roots is that, Okay, hyssop, the aerial parts. And this is great for another one for congestion and relieving blood pressure. And this is the same, this list is the same as if you buy something, where the first ingredient is what's most in that can or most in that package. So the first thing here that shows up here, it relieves congestion, right? That's number one. And then, it can help with blood pressure and help with gas. And aerial parts means the smell, fragrance, aerial. Yep, the flowers. Okay. And did you have a question?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. And you can make an oil from them. Yeah, you can make an oil.
No, I do have a question on hydrangeas. Because it said don't see the leaves. Does it also mean the petals?
Use the roots.
Only the roots.
The roots.
No petals and no leaves.
Right. Just the roots. Hydrangea root. Okay, Irish moss, you usually find that in lotions, right? Skin, anything for the skin. And you can use the entire plant on that one. used in hair rinses and for dry hair and in lotions and things like that. Juniper berries, that's another one for the kidneys. Okay, acts as a diuretic. There you go. There's lots of things out there that act as diuretics. So there should be nobody out there with swollen ankles and swollen, I mean, there's so many things here, right? Acts as a diuretic, helps to regulate blood sugar levels, relieves inflammation, congestion, and so on and so on. And you can see here, caution may interfere with absorption of iron. So, you want to make sure that the person is getting their blood checked to make sure that they don't become anemic. Kava kava, we know that is also for relaxation, right? And we use the roots for that. And caution that it can cause drowsiness. So you want to make sure that nobody's driving a car if they're taking it or if they're sensitive to that. So, if people have a lot of stress or if they're anxious or, kava kava is one that can be used for that. Lavender, I showed you, right? Great for relaxation and take a bath. If you take a bath, put lavender in your bath, light some candles, get a nice big glass of water and just sit in there and just relax. Get some Epsom salts in your bath and just, nice, just by yourself with some candles and just shut out the world, close the door and pretend you're not, and tell everybody, I'm gone, pretend I'm not there. Really nice with some lavender. My daughter thinks she's allergic to lavender because we picked a bunch of lavender and put it in a brown bag. If you want to dry it, you pick it and put it in a brown paper bag. And when she was little, she went over there and she goes, "What's in here, Mom?" And then she had this big allergic reaction, right? Her sinuses, and she starts sneezing and coughing. And to this day, she's 22, to this day, she's convinced that she's allergic to lavender. But I don't think she is. I think it was just because she went, right, yeah, right. So tell people, don't do that. It's kind of like if you open a jar of cayenne pepper and you go, right, yeah.
Chinese food, they have you snip it and
Yeah, you burn everything. I don't want to do any of that. Right. Okay, lemongrass, you can use different parts of it. It's astringent and tonic. Astringent, think of a lemon. If you don't know what astringent means, think of a lemon. What happens when you eat a lemon? You go, right? And it draws the water out. Okay, and so lemongrass is astringent and tonic, so it's good for skin and nails. And it's used in perfumes and other products as a fragrance. Licorice. Okay, we know what licorice, and we're not talking about the black licorice ropes or the little candy red licorice ropes. No, we're not talking, people have asked me about that. Okay, so licorice is great for all kinds of problems. And you can see the list there. And it's great for spasms and helps with the lungs and helps with asthma and chronic fatigue and all kinds of issues. Don't use it with pregnancy or by people with diabetes. Okay, we don't want to use it with diabetes or glaucoma, heart disease, high blood pressure, menstrual problems, stroke, anybody that's had a stroke, and not good to be used for a really long time. You have a question? Deglycerized licorice. Okay, so if you know anybody that has a hiatal hernia, if you all know what a hiatal hernia is, hiatal hernia is when the stomach gets pushed up into the diaphragm. Okay, so that can be pulled down. That can be pulled down manually. There's a lot of ways to pull a hiatal hernia down, unless it's so terrible that a person has to have surgery. And I can't say whether or not that's going to happen. That's for the doctor to say. But deglycerized licorice and aloe vera juice, those two things are really great for hiatal hernia. And then the other thing is drinking a big glass of lukewarm or warm, as warm as you can, water first thing in the morning, like a big, 12 ounce, and bouncing. Okay, and so you can stand on your tippy toes and then bounce and jar. And the warmth relaxes the stomach, and the big glass is the weight, and jarring and pulls the stomach down. So those are a couple things that can be done for hiatal hernias. And but then also there are people that know how to get in there with their fingers. I have a chiropractor here that knows how to get in there and pull it down. So it can be pulled down manually. And then working on how to deal with stress in a different way, because what happens is people that tense up their diaphragm when they're stressed, they hold in their emotions, then that can push that up and it can cause all kinds of problems. And then it causes all kinds of problems throughout the entire digestive system. And yeah, licorice is not an adaptogen. Use it if you need it. Yeah, use it if you need it, but not for a long period of time. Yeah. Aloe vera juice and deglyceride licorice.
And what do you?
The deglyceride licorice usually comes in caps.
Okay.
And so, and then you get, you know, like an ounce of aloe vera juice. And that helps with the inflammation and the irritation and, you know, and all of the heartburn and everything that goes with hiatal hernias. And how often they should do that? A couple times a day. Yeah. But they also have to get that down if that's what they have. And, you know, if it can be brought down, you know, if it's terrible. Or jump down some stairs. Yeah, you want to jar or yeah.
Just those lymphatic little trampolines.
A little trampoline can work. Yeah, but the thing is that takes the jarring out. So you can stand against the wall, go up on your tippy toes, and go down.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was something I wasn't going to share, but so that's good. So you guys got a little bit of information. The process of having a chiropractor helping me with the hiatal hernia. Hi, Razamai. In the process of having a good. That's good. Who else is here? Anybody else come in? Amelia's here. Donna, Teresa. Hi. I couldn't see you guys. Nice that you're all here. Yeah, and you know, it's painful when they pull it down. You lay on your back and they can muscle test. They have you put your arm up and they'll have you turn your hand. You guys can't see. They'll have you turn your hand this way, push on your stomach, and then push on your arm and see if your arm is weak. And if it is, then they know that needs to be adjusted. And what they do is they have you breathe in, put their fingers in here, and then they'll pull down. And it hurts for a second, and then you're like, ah. Sure. Yeah, all that vagus nerve, diaphragm. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, there's some little information. That's actually how I met some people out in New York, is because I was referring people out there to a chiropractor that I know in New York. And that's how I got involved with them, is because he called me and says, hey, I'm getting all these clients from you that have hiatal hernias. So it's very common, you know, and people that have GERD, they need to be checked. Anybody that has heartburn and problems, that they have acid reflux, things like that, they need to be checked to see if that's the cause. Okay, lobelia. You can use the flowers, the leaves, and the seeds. And this is a cough suppressant, but you have to be careful with it, because if you take too much, then it'll make you throw up. It is an expectorant, okay? And it's good for asthma and bronchitis and colds and flu, and you can see all that, okay? And should not be taken for a long period of time, and needs to be taken just a little bit. Okay, marshmallow. Notice it's marshmallow and not marshmallow. And I've had people ask me, are those little white marshmallows that you can buy at the store? No. It's funny. People are funny. Okay. So marshmallow, you can see the flowers, the leaves, and the roots. And this is mucilaginous. Okay, so anything like mushrooms, anything that absorbs water and gets and absorbs like a sponge is mucilaginous. Okay, and these are things that are really great for helping the mucous membranes. Okay, and they're great for just helping with inflammation. Okay, so. Oh, so marshmallow. Marshmallow used to have the real marshmallow, is what you're saying. Okay, and then they just went to sugar. Okay. Yeah, okay, and they use it a lot in the compounding of pills because it's a filler. So, but you can see there it's great for it can be used for bladder infections and digestive upsets, and there again, fluid retention and headaches and intestinal disorders. You notice there's a lot of herbs in here that can be used for multiple things. Milk thistle we know is great for
Liver.
right? Great for liver. Okay, and there's the flowers, and it's great as long as it doesn't come onto your property, because it has little prickers all over it and it hurts. And they redid our road, and you know how they spray the green stuff on the side of the roads. Well, there can be milk thistle in there, and then guess what? The birds and the wind bring the seeds into your property, and then you go walking through your property and it hurts. So it's great as long as it's not on your property, unless you have it in one space where you want to pick it. Okay, fruit, leaves, and seeds. I'm talking from experience. They did that on ours. Okay, great for liver, anything having to do with liver. Okay, liver protecting substances, prevents free radical damage by acting as an antioxidant, protects the liver, stimulates production of new liver cells, and prevents formation of damaging leukotrienes, if that's how you pronounce that. Protects the kidneys, good for adrenal disorders, inflammatory bowel disorders, weakened immune system, basically all liver issues. Okay, so that is what milk thistle is known for, is known for the liver. And it's also called wild artichoke. So there you go. Mullein, there you go. I showed you my mullein plant. It's kind of sad looking. That's what it looks like too. It looks like that. It's the leaves are flat on the ground. So it makes kind of like almost like a lily pad flat. And then it sends up that stalk that I showed you. And it has the big yellow flowers. How should it be planted? It's wild. You can take mine and take the seeds and plant it. It gets really wide. The mullein gets really wide and it gets really, really tall. And they get huge, and then they reproduce. And you know, it starts with one and then you'll have 10 before you know it, and they just kind of take over this whole area. It's great for keeping weeds out. Yeah, it's great for keeping weeds out. I didn't plant it. It came to my house all by itself, a bird or the wind. And then we get a lot of them, but it's only in one place. It only comes in one place on my property, and it likes it, but there's a faucet nearby. And so it might like it because the faucet's there, and it, you know, gets a little bit more water there maybe. It gets a little bit less sun there where it's decided to more water and less sun where it's decided to live. Okay, so acts as a laxative, painkiller, sleep aid. If you wrap the warts, it can help with that. Great for anything, like I said, for breathing, anything for, you know, for the lungs and breathing, bronchitis, asthma, anything for mucus, helping get rid of mucus. I suppose you can make a tincture out of it and drop it into the ear and see if it helps with ear infections and earaches and things like that. It soothes inflammation. Mustard, right, that people put on their hot dogs, you know, when they eat hot dogs, the seeds, and this helps with digestion. It can be irritating, so don't put it on the skin. Don't put it on the skin. Myrrh, we use the resin from the stems, and this is known to have antiseptic and disinfectant properties. It's a good deodorizer. It helps with bacteria in the mouth. Okay. Is there a cat back there that I heard?
Yeah.
I heard a cat. Okay. Nettle, they use the flowers, the leaves, and the roots. There you go. Look at that. Diuretic. Perfect. It's so hot here. Also called stinging nettle. It's great for pain and a tonic, and contains lots of minerals, and good for anemia. So if you know anybody, if you know iridology and you know anybody with brown hematogenic eyes, you've got brown eyes. Okay. Nettle's great because most brown-eyed people have trouble with anemia. Okay, or if you know anybody that has anemia, okay, great. And all kinds of other things. Oat straw, use the whole plant, and oat straw is great for as a tonic, promotes sweating. So if you know somebody like my mom does not sweat. She just gets really hot, really red in the face, and she doesn't sweat. Also, you can see here, good for bedwetting, depression, all kinds of skin issues, things like that. Oregon grape that I showed you, great for the immune system. Use the roots, purifies the blood, cleanses the liver, good for skin conditions, acne, psoriasis. And it can be used in place of golden seal. So if somebody has diabetes, right, where they can't use, or they tend to have problems with blood sugar, and they can't use golden seal, you can use Oregon grape. Papaya, we all know that's great for digestion, yes? You can eat papaya and it really helps for breaking down foods. Use the fruit, the inner bark, and the stems. Stimulates appetite, aids digestion, good for heartburn. You know what's really great for heartburn? If you know anybody gets heartburn, celery. You don't even have to eat the celery. You can just take a little piece of celery, have them chew it and get the juice out of the celery. Heartburn's gone. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Great for heartburn. Now I had to say that because I saw the word heartburn there. So there you go. Papaya is great for heartburn, indigestion, inflammatory bowel disorders, and leaves can be used to tenderize meat. I don't know anything about that. So if you try it and it works, let me know. Parsley, there again, great for kidneys. Can use the berries, the roots, and the stems. Okay. And helps with, well, I'm Italian, so we use parsley for everything. Oregano, parsley, garlic, basil, ginger, all of those aromatics. So this is an aromatic, and we know that parsley helps with swelling there again, right? Fluid retention, and it's great for digestion. The restaurants used to put parsley on your plate when you used to go out and eat. They put a little sprig of parsley, right? And then, after you eat, you chew the parsley, and it's great to help you digest. They don't do that anymore. They should do that. I always ate it. Always ate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Passion flower. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that flower pretty? Plant in the flower, and it just relaxes, right? Passion flower relaxes. It's great for anxiety and hyperactivity, insomnia, and anything related to stress.
Once that orange that looks like a fruit comes from it, and the inside, the little berries, you can eat those, or how would you?
What is this?
The passion flower, because I tried the little berries when some in our yard came, and it had these little red berries inside. They're not very good.
Oh, I don't know.
How to use it.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Jackie says parsley is also good for lowering high blood pressure. Yeah, and a lot of times parsley will be in if you're using combinations, parsley will be in a combination for high blood pressure as well. Thank you. Okay, so passion flower should not be used in high doses during pregnancy. Notice there's quite a few mentions here of pregnancy. So, there really isn't too much. We got to be careful. There's my very favorite herb in the whole world, podarco. That's my favorite. Isn't that pretty? It's a tree, podarco. Yeah, so there you go. Use the inner bark. It's great for anything having to do with viruses and infections and anything having to do with that. Candida. Smoker's cough, you can see these other things, smoker's cough, warts, any type of infections. It's listed here for AIDS and allergies and cancer. So, these are all the things that it's listed for. And it's also called the lapacho and the tejibo tree. So that's my favorite herb. It's great. My husband had, he had a infection in his gum. We went on vacation and he ended up with an abscess on his gum. The first night. And so I had podarco with me. And so we mixed the podarco. It was a powder. We mixed it with some honey and he put it on his gum. Next morning it was gone. Yep. So it can be used topically. It can be taken internally. It's a great herb for lots of different things. Okay. Okay. Peppermint, we all know peppermint and how good peppermint is for digestion, right? And so peppermint is an aromatic. You can use the flowering tops and the leaves, enhances digestion by increasing stomach acidity, and great for mucous membranes. There again, it can interfere with iron absorption, so careful with it. It's a stimulant. So Stephen Horn was the master herbalist for Nature Sunshine for years. And he put out a newsletter. This was when I was in San Francisco. He put out a newsletter saying that peppermint can be used for everybody. And I believed it because I was new. And I had a lady that came into my office and I was doing iridology on her and she was falling asleep. And I had some peppermint oil. And I said, you know, would you like, she was just sitting there next to me and she was falling asleep, this older lady. And I said, would you like some peppermint oil? You see if it can help you wake up. And she said, yes. So I gave her some. Oh my God. Thought she was going to have a heart attack. Her heart started beating really fast. She started sweating. Yeah, it was really scary. And so I took her in the bathroom and I put a cold washcloth on her, had her put her head between her legs. And so guess what? I wrote to Stephen after and I said, you need to fix what you said in that newsletter and say that this should not be used on anybody that has any pre-existing conditions, you know, having to do with hearts and, you know, and yeah, that was scary. So caution, it's a stimulant and shouldn't be used by anyone with irregular heartbeat or high blood pressure. Okay, so if your herbs turn bitter, well, bitter is bitter detoxes. Okay, so if a lot of times if they're not getting enough water, they may turn bitter. Okay, if they're in the hot sun and they're turning bitter, you may need to move them so that they get less sun, maybe under a tree. Not that I'm aware of, it's not harmful, not that I know of. But Jacqueline says, I believe peppermint oil can also decrease mom's breast milk supply. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Plantain, we use the leaves and that is soothing to the lungs and urinary tract. Young leaves are tasty and can be eaten in salads. I don't know anything about that, but it can be useful for preventing bedwetting and applied in a poultice. It's good for bee stings and any kind of bites. So that is good to know. That is very good to know. Usually the store only sells the fruit, you know, and so, okay, primrose oil, right? Make an oil from the seeds, primrose oil. And this is a natural estrogen promoter, also called evening primrose oil. Great for female, anything female. Helps with weight loss, reduces high blood pressure, and you can see the other things there. Hot flashes, helps with menstrual problems, heavy bleeding, cramps, things like that. Pumpkin, we know that is for parasites, pumpkin seeds. Okay, we use those for, you know, prostate problems and parasitic conditions. Raw pumpkin seeds, yeah. Roasted pumpkin seeds, raw. The whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing, chew it. Yep. And you know, you can eat the pumpkin. I mean, you know, pumpkin is really good. It's a squash. It's good, right? You can make pumpkin pies with it and pumpkin soup with it and pumpkin, all kinds of things with it. High in omegas. Okay, red clover. Red clover is a detox. It's good for detoxing. Use the flowers. Okay, acts as an antibiotic, appetite suppressant, blood purifier. That's what we mostly use red clover for, is blood purifier, especially for brown-eyed people. Okay, especially for hematogenics. All right. You can drink it as a tea. Yeah, you can use it. You can make a tincture out of the flowers. You can put the flowers in the cup, pour the hot water over it, let it steep. Yeah. Okay, red raspberry. Now there you go. That one's good for pregnancy. Okay. Bark, leaves, and roots, besides the fact that they're really good. Okay. Decreases menstrual bleeding, relaxes uterine and intestinal spasms, strengthens the uterine walls, all those kinds of things. Good for morning sickness, hot flashes, so on, so on. Okay, it is 7 o'clock, isn't it? Time goes really fast, doesn't it? 1 hour. So how many pages are left? We're on R. Okay, so I'm not gonna, yeah, I won't get this done tonight. Okay, so we're gonna have a part 3 to this. But what I want to do is go to the last page here. Okay, so the next herbal hour is going to be earlier. It's not going to be a month. It's going to be September 6th because my son is coming in on the 14th. And so I'm not going to be available to teach herbal hours. So hopefully you'll be available on September 6th. And we will do part 3 of this as well. You're welcome to come. You don't have to RSVP since you've already been here. I've got everybody, I've got everybody on the list, and I'll send you an email to remind you if you come in person, if you live around here. If you want to go on Zoom, that's fine, And if you want to get certified as an herbal counselor, you can do it through this class. You can also, it's also online. And the nice part about that is it is approved by the Board of Registered Nursing, has a BRN number, and you can carry the CHC initials after your name. So, yeah. And so that is something that is available to you if that's something that you, okay. All right. Any questions? Any questions?
Yeah. Did you say we can get the handouts on all those things we just looked over? Okay.
Yep. Just send me a message.
Okay, I can get them from you when I come up there.
You can get them from me when you come to the office. I'll have an extra copy. Yeah.
Okay.
Just walk in. Okay.
Can I take Alyssa a copy?
Sure. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I hope you had a good time, and I hope to see you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Night.
Night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.